Hello, everybody. This is the minister here. How you guys doing? Hope everything's going well. I'm coming to you today from behind the joint. I'm gonna do this to have a little bit of a discussion. I'd like to have a discussion on the recent media crazed event that happened in Parkland, Florida, and that is that school shooting. First of all, there are a lot of things that don't add up with that school shooting, but that's another conversation. But a lot of people are sticking up for the supposed shooter, the kid. In fact, let's do a little bit here and we'll go Parkland shooting. One day ago, New York Daily News, Ted Nugent says Parkland survivors are mushy-brained children. Stoneman Douglas High School shooting. So the young man's name is Nicholas Cruz. He's 19 years old, according to Wikipedia. Now, there are several of these surviving children. They go to this high school that supposedly were there and survived it. One of them is a young lady with a crew cut hair. She looks like she could be of Hispanic descent, which makes no difference whatsoever. I've seen pictures of her, and and people have made comments about her Cuban flag. Supposedly it's her heritage. Of course, a lot of people that know politics and what happened in the Bay of Pigs in Cuba between Russia, United States, and Cuba in the early 60s understand that the regime at that time disarmed all of their citizens and then murdered quite a few infidels. And so they made a big deal about that as she stands up for anti-gun movement. And I also watched a video, which I'm sure I've shared or liked in other social media. People that follow me have seen this, but it was a panel of teenagers talking on the gun issue. And there was really only one gentleman, a young man in there that wasn't on the same side as the rest of the panel. But one of the young ladies in there said that, they should ban all semi-automatic weapons. And instantly it told me that these children, or at least she, did not know what a semi-automatic weapon is. That is actually kind of, to me, in a personal view, ridiculous. I hunted with semi-automatic weapons pretty much all my life, though I did grow up on a 410 shotgun, which I think was my very first type of gun, other than like a BB gun, which I had when I was 4 or 5 years old. I've never shot anybody or myself. I do want to admit I currently do not own guns, but that's my choice. I don't think that what I choose should be pushed on to other people. Now, do we have a problem with violence in this country? Yeah. Unfortunately, our country was founded on violence. We had to fight to become this country. We had to fight to continue to be this country. And we had to fight to help other countries to be like us. In all actuality, it isn't horrible, but we're turning into a different way, and I believe a lot of this has to do with stress. because maybe of all the wars that we've had in the past 120 years, in my past 50 years, I've seen maybe 1 or 2 years of my life without war or conflict, military conflict, that involved my country. So maybe that has a lot to do with a lot of this economic problems that we've had in the last 10 years. Actually, let's go back to 2001. Ever since September 11th, our country has not been the same. Economically, especially, what our enemies did to us affected us a great deal. Yeah, I believe that we are persistent, forthright, and we will overcome our enemies. And I believe that these enemies are also the enemies of the world. But what's the problem is these enemies are also embedded into our own government. This has got to be a faction of truth that everybody can see at this point. But I believe a lot of the stress comes from these problems. And until we can get back to a status economically like the days, and I hate to say it, of Bill Clinton, because I'm not a Democrat, of Bill Clinton with a surplus, it'd be great, you know. But anyways, do you think, and this is my question, do you think, and I, you know, I really don't like to, I don't like to point out one religion over another, because then, you know, it does cause an argument. But because of the bullying that went on, and these children that are anti-gun right now have been on enough media to show, and we have sound bites and record of them saying they bullied this kid for 3 years. I'm sorry, human nature will step in. Not everybody's going to lay down and kill themselves because of bullying. There's going to be some that might bully back. And we got to be a little more aware maybe of how we treat each other. Maybe this love your neighbor is more important than you think. Yeah, maybe the kid did have a few problems. All right, maybe he did. But it was only him. It wasn't a group. You know, it wasn't a group of him against one of them. It was a group of them against him. Again, not everybody's going to lay down and kill themselves. Some people are going to snap back, and I think he was one of them. So maybe karma stepped in. Does this situation fall under the definition of karma? Well, unfortunately, karma does have to do not with only the life that you live right now, but also the past or previous lives. For instance, this is the definition under Google. It says, in Hinduism and Buddhism, the sum of a person's actions in this and previous states of existence, viewed as deciding their fate in future existences. So, you know, is it possible that these other children's actions were so loud and so painful that it could have helped to cause this situation? I remember during the Columbine shootings, that was a big question and a big subject, as though these kids that did that shooting were also bullied, and that's why they picked who they picked. Violence in any right is still violence. We choose to be violent toward each other. It isn't beyond me to fathom that this child or this young